Welcome to our continuing coverage of SHOT Show 2017. That's right, the shooting, hunting, outdoor trade show in Las Vegas, Nevada, with almost 65,000 people in attendance and thousands upon thousands of brand new products. We're going to cover it throughout the week with regular updates, so stay tuned. Hi, this is Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for watching my videos. I really appreciate it. It's the last day of SHOT Show. Are you glad, Ron?
It's finally here.
It's finally here. You know, we're all tired, but it's been a terrific show, about 65,000 people attending, and it's really great to be here with Ron at Inland. One of the reasons I wanted to stop by here is because at SHOT Show, you learn very quickly that you're going to find every variety of AR-15 known to man, and you finally get to the point where you say, I'd like to look at something else. And I felt like when I walked in this booth that I had stepped back in time. What Ron didn't know is that we had met about 3 years ago when he only had, what'd you have, I think 2 or 3 models?
Yeah,
and
3 models.
Grown tremendously since then. So tell me a little bit about Inland and the kinds of products that you build.
Well, Inland was originally a division of General Motors, founded back in 1922 by the Wright brothers, Charles Kettering, and other prominent members of the Dayton area. They started building steering wheels for that new creation called an automobile.
I should probably clarify that you and I are about the same age, and we weren't born back then. We weren't around
We were not born back then.
Okay, just want you to know, we were not back there. This is history.
Being a native of Dayton, Ohio, Inland has been synonymous with anything we've done with firearms. We've always heard about the M1 Carbine. I thought everybody in the world knew about Inland and their what they did for the support during World War II. Several years ago, we acquired the Inland name. We brought it back. It was dissolved several years ago by General Motors when it merged with several other subsidiaries of General Motors and became Delphi. So what I was surprised people didn't realize how important Inland was during the war effort during World War II. In fact, during World War II, Inland became the largest manufacturer of firearms in the United States.
Wow, I did not know that.
And Winchester was awarded the contract to build the M1 Carbine, which has been our flagship model.
Now this you had 3 years ago when we met.
Yes. We started off with a ladder build. The M1 Carbine has gone through numerous changes during the 4 years of manufacturing during World War II. And we chose to go with the 1944 and 1945, last 2 years of build. And Winchester was originally awarded the contract back in the late 30s, and they were unable to fulfill it. Inland stepped up to the plate and supported them with it, and ended up building, there was 10 contractors that built the M1 Carbine, Inland being the largest.
Now these are brand new.
These are brand new. Yeah, these are brand new. We're trying to build them as close to the original Inland M1 Carbine as possible.
With new manufacturing
with new technology,
techniques, new metallurgy.
Yes. And one thing I've sort of like to impress on, we've worked real hard to maintain the historical accuracy. There's one area we've been unable to accomplish, and that is the accuracy. The original M1 Carbine was good for about 4 to 6 inch group at 100 yards. And we're only getting
I get a surprise here?
We're only getting 1.5 to 2 inch.
You're trying to make that worse, but you can't manage it.
Yeah, we've not figured out how to do that. So, and with what I like doing in the firearms platform is take a specific model and see how many different variations we can come up with it, so that we've got different flavors of it. You know, not every gun is suited for everybody. And it gives us an opportunity to go through with some of the different historic models there was. A departure from the original is our version of or we call it the Advisor. It's an M1 pistol. And we base this on a model where the Advisors during Vietnam era, by the way, the M1 Carbine was used from World War II all the way through Vietnam.
Right.
The Advisors coming into Vietnam would typically get issued something like this, which is the M1A1. It's a paratrooper model. It was only manufactured by Inland. They would take this rifle and bob it down, cut it down to pistol size, and with a folding stock, that made a really compact personal defense weapon. We went a step further. We made it turn into a legal ATF pistol without a folding stock and pistol size.
Right.
That's a great little platform, and the performance of a 30 carbine, best way to describe it, it's like a 357 Magnum on steroids.
Right.
So with this, you've got a basically a 357 Magnum semi-auto.
Yeah, people poo-poo the round a lot, but they shouldn't. Because
They should.
It hits with authority.
Yeah,
it really
the problem with that, so many people would compare the 30 carbine to the 30-06, which was the caliber for the M1 Garand.
Not a fair comparison.
It's not a comparison. The M1 carbine was designed to replace the 1911 semi-automatic for the people who did not have the proficient handgunning skills. Through the rear guard, the officers, people who would typically be issued a 1911, they couldn't master the pistol craft of that, so they would give them a M1 carbine, and it was a very effective platform using a pistol-style cartridge out to 100 yards, and exceed 100 yards.
Right.
Then when they would compare this to the 30-06, which is a tremendous platform out to 1,000 meters, there's no comparison.
There is no comparison.
However, there's been a recent study done. The M1 carbine is responsible for more enemy engagements and stopping enemy attacks than any other firearm in military history.
That is amazing.
And
amazing.
and a lot of people, and unfortunately, when the M2 full auto version came out, latter part of World War II, and was prominent through Korea and Vietnam, people had a tendency to flip it on full auto and let it go. And well, I shot the guy 9 times. Well, they might have shot at him 9 times, but they didn't hit him. They didn't hit him. When they're hit, I guarantee you, 100 yards or less, I don't want to get hit by a 30 carbine.
Yeah, I don't want to be in the business end of it either.
There's been a lot of where they claimed that the Chinese insurgents during Korea, with their heavy wool clothing, would stop the 30 carbine round. It's false. There's been a lot of studies done on that where they replicated that engagement, and the 30 carbine punches right through
Wouldn't
it.
stop a 357 Magnum. It's not going to stop a 30 carbine.
In fact, Jim Cirillo, who was probably the most noted gunfighter in law enforcement history, he was part of a task force in New York City. He found that the number one-shot stop, one-shot kill, was his little cut-down M1 carbine.
That is amazing.
Using a Winchester soft tips.
That is amazing.
And that was his go-to gun.
Now you have a brand new model here, don't you?
Yes, we do. New for this year is our T30. This is a copy of the M1 T3 that was a sniper carbine rifle developed latter part of World War II, saw a lot of service in Korea and Vietnam. Most typically seen in the M3 variation, which was a full auto, and would have the infrared light system on it. Where the T3 was the earlier version that was a semi-auto. We chose to replicate that, use a Redfield style base that's actually welded onto the receiver. That gives a lot more rigid.
A lot more stability.
Yeah, a lot more stability. We married it to the Hilux M82 scope, which is a very correct vintage style scope for this platform. This was a copy of the Alaskan Lineman that was quite often found on Garands and 03s during World War II.
Now you've also got some other toys over there we want to go look at, don't you?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we're going to go look at, are we looking at handguns and shotguns?
We're going to be looking at some handguns and shotguns.
Okay.
We want to
you know
round
me,
up.
I like guns. I'm an almost 60-year-old child. You know that, right?
Well,
we're going to go look at the handguns and the shotguns, so stick with us. We've moved over here where the handguns are, and then below us down here, Ron has a surprise for us in a minute. But before we look at that, we want to look at some 1911s and some other great guns that Ron's got. So what do you got over here?
well, our first 1911 was a 1911 government model. Wanting a good companion gun for the M1 carbine, it only made sense for us to come out, in my experience in the past with shooting, I've always had a passion for the 1911, so
Well, I'm right
it's
there with
inevitable.
you, me too. Yeah, me too.
and
Nothing better in my opinion. I'm sure I'll get comments on YouTube now going, are you kidding me, they suck? But no, as far as I'm concerned, they're awesome.
1911 is great. There's a reason why it's been the best handgun around for over 100 years.
Right.
Now, a lot of people will say, well, Inland never built a 1911. Well, I'm here to tell you that this 1911 is a 100% accurate reproduction of the 1911 that Inland could have built. So,
if they'd wanted to at the time or had a contract, right?
And actually, they did. Inland did build a 1911. They used a design laminated steel that was die cut and it was riveted together, and it didn't work.
Well, yeah, but we won't talk about that.
So that's why we don't see that 1911.
I'll edit that out. Actually, I'm not going to. I'm going to leave that in
However,
there.
during that time frame, Inland also built another, oh, by the way, back on this pistol, for $749 retail, it's 100% made in U.S. All of our products, we source everything in the United States.
Hallelujah.
This is 100% U.S. made, retails for $749. Is one of the finest shooting government model 1911s you can put in your hand.
And that's a great price,
So,
honestly, for a 1911.
It's
That's a stellar
great
price.
platform.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
during this same time frame that they were developing their stamped 1911,
Yeah.
they also did what was called the Liberator.
Okay.
They designed the Liberator pistol that was built by Inland Guide Lamp in Indiana,
Yeah.
and they built over 1 million of those.
Yeah.
Well, this year we've released our version of the Liberator.
It's a much better Liberator than
It's
the one they
a
built.
little better built.
You think?
The original Liberator, it took longer to build it, longer to load it than it did to build it.
Yeah.
This is actually done in a partnership.
Well,
with,
the original only went bang once, and I'm not sure it would fire a second time either.
This one is based on a little two-barrel Derringer by Bond Arms,
Yeah.
which Bond Arms has been building Derringers for quite a few years.
Very well,
And I like
right.
establishing good, positive relationships and partnerships with other gun companies.
Right.
That's the same thing Inland did during World War II.
Sure.
So we're following that same thought process. With this, we're doing the Inland Liberator. It's in 45 ACP. We are coming out with another caliber in the near future, but for now we're doing the same as the 45 ACP, which the original Liberator was. Great little handgun, and it retails for $495. Now, speaking of partnerships, we have had a tremendous a great partnership with another gun company that moved to Ohio recently, and that's Ithaca.
Wonder who that could have been.
That would be Ithaca.
Yeah.
We're wanting to, we've got the government model 1911.
Yeah.
We've got a great carbine. I wanted to round out that whole package with a nice shotgun.
And Ithaca made great shotguns, but one in particular is very,
There's
very memorable.
one always stood out in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm former law enforcement, former military, and back in the day, I think we're about the same age,
Sure.
but I always wish we could have carried the Ithaca Model 37.
Oh, absolutely.
So since we didn't get the chance to carry it, I've got the opportunity to build it.
Absolutely.
So we partnered with Ithaca out of Upper Sandusky, Ohio, and this is our version of the World War II style, actually through World War II all the way through to Vietnam, the Model 37 Trench Gun.
Now this is a bottom feed, bottom eject.
Bottom feed,
Just
bottom
like
eject.
the original gun.
Yes.
Right.
And chambered in 3-inch Magnum. The original was 2 3/4.
Right.
Now everybody asks, well, will it slam fire? And for those who don't understand what slam fire is, with a good old Model 37 Ithaca, you hold the trigger down, and just as fast as you pump it, it racks
goes.
around. It goes.
It goes, that's right.
And it's just, it's a heck of a street sweeper.
Yeah, it is.
But
That's what we used to call a hallway broom.
you got it.
That's right.
And our version of the Ithaca Model 37 does not come with slam fire capability as it is shipped.
Oh, why do I feel there's a butt in there somewhere?
There is a butt in there. We are working with Ithaca to develop a new trigger group that will allow that feature that can be aftermarket for the customers. So
Outstanding. That's going to be great. Now, I want to tell you, my son is left-handed, and he loves a bottom eject, bottom feed shotgun for that reason, because then the
Exactly.
shells are not being ejected by his face.
That
And
is correct.
If he were here, which he's not because he had to work, unfortunately, if he were here, he'd be all over that.
Yep.
That's
it's
awesome.
just a great shotgun. We've had a lot of tremendous reviews with this. I'm very happy to have it on our lineup.
But you have something that I believe very strongly in, because as you know, I wear hearing aids because I've hunted my whole life, and I've, shot. This here's history from bird hunting and everything else.
Back in the days when we were on the range and hearing protection, what was that?
What was that? Right.
Exactly.
What? And that's why I'm saying that now. What?
Yes.
And if I don't have these, I can't hear my daughter, I can't hear my wife. Hearing protection is vital, and in this country, we need something like you've got in your hands. So why don't you tell us about that?
Absolutely. I've been working with suppressor designs and development for over 40 years. I've never offered a retail product. Most of my products have been for military and law enforcement applications. I've never done anything for retail for numerous reasons. But with the potential of deregulation of suppressors and the opportunity we've got coming forward, I couldn't wait any longer. So we've developed a new suppressor line. We're starting it off with our rimfire, which I feel every shooter should start shooting with a rimfire suppressor.
Right. I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, it does not pre-program subconscious state to flinch or to worry about that concussion. It makes a better shooter. It's safer and it's better on the ears.
And why do I want my kids or my wife or any new shooter to immediately have to deal with that concussion or immediately risk losing hearing?
So there's been several issues I've had with the suppressor industry, and over the years, because of the legislation and the laws required, it's driven the prices of suppressors high. I want to come up with ways that we could build an effective suppressor that was cost effective as well.
Yeah.
What we've done, we started with the PM22. This is a very unique design that has, it's specifically for rimfire, weighs 3.5 ounces, 5.5 inches long,
3.5 ounces.
You're hardly going to know it's there. And the way we're able to do that is we're using a polymer monolithic core. I couldn't hardly say it. It's a monocore.
Glad you didn't ask me to say it.
Made out of plastic.
Yeah.
And an issue we've had with rimfire suppressors for years is being able to clean it. With this, the design on this, it's very simple. You can't screw it up by putting the baffles in wrong. There's only one way it can go in. And what really makes this even more effective is we've included a design this year we've released. It's a suppressor foam specifically for suppressors. Another project I've been working on for over 15 years. This will actually allow you to foam a suppressor and run the suppressor what we call wet. A dry suppressor is very effective, but when you've got a wet agent that'll cool those initial gases, eliminates a first shot pop, so that's even more quiet. Our suppressor foam will reduce sound level 3 to 5 decibels on about any suppressor, and with this suppressor, it's extremely effective. And the suppressor foam is water soluble, so when you get through shooting and all the dirty contaminants, the lead,
rinse that baby off and go.
You rinse it off with hot water and you're good to go.
Wow.
So it's and our suggested retail price on this is $189.
Oh, that
includes
nothing.
a 4-ounce can of foam.
Good grief, that's awesome. Now, if you may not know, but there is a bill going through Congress right now designed specifically to take suppressors off the NFA list so they can be purchased by law-abiding citizens for the purpose of saving their hearing, because they're great tools. Other countries in the world are ahead of us on this. We're the United States. We ought to be ahead of everybody on everything.
Not only are they ahead of us, in some countries, you're not even allowed to fire a firearm outdoors at an outdoor range without a suppressor.
Yes. Precisely because it costs people's hearing, and none of that's irritating. And think about how many ranges have people who live close to the range that complain about the noise all the time, and the noise would go away if we could just get these tools in the hands of ranges and the hands of Americans.
Absolutely.
So I urge you, contact your senator, contact your congressperson, and urge them to support that bill so that we can get these things in the hands of law-abiding citizens. We can have people grow up, be old farts like me, and not have to wear hearing aids because they hunted and fished all their lives, but they did it with suppression. So thank you very much for building it. Ron, you have been a joy. It's really good to see you again,
Joel.
And I appreciate so much the time that you spent with me today. I'm going to put a link to your website in the description, so if you're looking for that, you want to find Inland, just look in the description, the links will be there. And stick around with me, we'll have more updates from SHOT Show. In the meantime, be safe.